It's Tuesday, it is!
Hey everyone, it's Mimi and Weezus.
Hey guys, what's good?
Today we're going to do an episode on a female serial killer, which we haven't covered many of. Her name is Aileen Wuornos. Second, before we start, I want to tell you, if you hear screaming in the background, it's our conure, and he is literally on drugs right now or something. I don't know, because he won't stop screaming, so I apologize if you can hear him. Anyways, so let's get back to Aileen. She died back in 2002, so she murdered back in the 80s and 90s, right? So, Aileen Wuornos was an American serial killer. The other female serial killer we covered was, right? Yeah, Marion Cotton, yeah. So this is our first American female serial killer. She killed 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. She claimed that they SA'd her or attempted to while she was working as a sex worker.
And you know, this lady was just armed and dangerous. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. She was convicted and sentenced to death for 6 of the murders and then executed in 2002 by lethal injection.
I'll just say she knew how to handle a blicky, dude.
We'll start with her early childhood because this is where the problem started, honestly. So she was born as Aileen Pittman, is actually her maiden name, in Michigan on February 29th, 1956. Her mom, name was Diane, was only 15 years old when she married her dad, who was named Leo Pittman. And that was in 1954 when they got married. 2 years later, and 2 months before Aileen was born, Diane filed for divorce from Eileen's dad. Aileen had an older brother named Keith, who was born in February 1955. She never met her dad, though, because, and here's the real messed up part, is he was in prison for the sexual assault and attempted murder of a 7-year-old girl.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's super intense, right? Leo was considered to be schizophrenic, and he was convicted of sex crimes against children. He was in and out of prison, and he hanged himself in prison in 1969.
He's like, this is getting kind of boring, dude. It's been 30 years.
Yeah. He had nothing else to do. Every time he would get out, he would just harm children, so she never even met him. In January 1960, when Aileen was almost 4 years old, Diane abandoned her children, both of them. She left them with their grandparents, and they ended up legally adopting them. So then she was raised by them, right?
Yeah.
So she was already, and this is, you know, she's a young kid at this time, and she's just been thrown around. She doesn't know who her dad is.
Imagine already losing your dad and your mom.
Yeah, and your mom willingly being like, I don't want this, and I don't want this anymore.
She's like, new me, new life.
For real. At age 11, this is when Aileen really started to act up.
Oof.
She was already engaging in sexual activities at school in exchange for cigarettes, drugs, and food. She had also engaged in sexual activities with Keith, her brother.
We'll say Wincest.
Yeah. Oh my god. She claimed that she was sexually assaulted and beaten as a child by her grandfather, who was an alcoholic. According to her accusations, before beating her, he would force her to strip out of her clothes.
Ugh.
Yeah. In 1970, at age 14, she became pregnant, having been raped by a friend of her grandfather's.
Oh, man.
So, not only was he a creep, he was bringing his friends around. She ended up giving birth to the baby at a home for unwed mothers, and then the child was placed up for adoption.
Oh.
A few months after the baby was born, Aileen dropped out of school. At about that time, her grandma died because her grandma had liver failure, probably from drinking. Aileen and her brother became wards of the court. Why were you going to laugh that her grandma died of liver failure?
Because she was an alcoholic.
Probably, if her husband was.
Right.
So Aileen and Keith became wards of the court. She was 15. Sorry, when she was 15, her grandfather threw her out of the house, dude. And that's when she began supporting herself through.
She sold her body for money, we'll say that.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and she began supporting herself by selling her body on the streets.
Faux show.
Turning tricks. And she lived in the woods. So on May 27th, 1974, Aileen was arrested in Jefferson County, Colorado for driving under the influence, disorderly conduct, and firing a .22 from a moving vehicle, dude. This lady did not mess around.
She was literally thugging it out before they were thugging it out, dude.
Yeah, dude. And then she was later charged with failure to appear in court. In 1976, Aileen hitchhiked to Florida, where she met 69-year-old yacht club president Louis Gratz Fell. 2 last names, I know. I was like, he fell? No, that's just his last name. They married that same year, and the announcement of their nuptials was printed in the paper, local newspaper, right? So they were one of those couples.
Damn, dude, they knew. Everyone knew. They wanted everyone to know, I mean.
Mm-hmm. However, Aileen here continually involved herself in confrontations at their local bar and eventually went to jail for assault.
She's like, Derek, dude, I'll fight everyone in here.
I'll fight everyone in here after 2 drinks. She also hit him with his own cane, leading him to get a restraining order against her. She returned to Michigan, where on the 14th of July, 1976, she was arrested and charged with assault and disturbing the peace for throwing a cue ball at a bartender's head.
Oh, damn, dude, that's
This is just all like back to back to back too.
Bro,
She's just going
why
for
does she
it.
sound like a drunk person from the 80s, 70s? You know what I mean?
That's what she. That's what she is.
Literally, right?
Literally what she is.
The people from the movies, bro. This is her.
Yeah, really though. So on July 17th, that same year, Keith, her brother, passed away. He had esophageal cancer. She received $10,000 from his life insurance. Yeah, that's not that much, but that'll get us going.
Okay, let's go.
So Aileen and her husband annulled their marriage on July 21st after only 9 weeks of marriage. Yep.
How bad was it, dude?
Must have been bad, dude.
I'd get my butt beat every day.
Probably.
With my own hand.
On May 20th, 1981, Aileen was arrested in Edgewater, Florida for the armed robbery of a convenience store where she stole $35 and 2 packs of cigarettes. She was sentenced to prison on May 4th, 1982 and released on June 30th, 1983. On May 1st, 1984, what did she do, dude? She was arrested for attempting to pass forged checks at a bank in Key West.
Let's go.
She just didn't even stop at violence. She was like, I'm going to start robbing places. I'm going to start doing fake checks.
She's like, I'm gonna do the worst things you can possibly imagine.
And she just kept going. So then, on November 30th of 1985, the next year, she was named as a suspect in the theft of a revolver and ammunition in Pasco County, I think it is. On January 4th, 1986, Aileen was arrested in Miami and charged with grand theft auto, resisting arrest, and obstruction of justice for providing identification with her aunt's name on it, not hers. Miami police found a .38 revolver and a box of ammo in the stolen car. She just can't be stopped.
She was ready to throw down with the cops at any moment.
Yeah, no matter what. On June 2nd, 1986, Florida deputy sheriffs detained Aileen for questioning after a male companion accused her of pulling a gun in his car and demanding $200. Yeah. Aileen was found to be
like,
carrying...
pull it out. Pull it out.
Yeah, really. And she was found to be carrying spare ammo, and a .22 pistol was discovered under the passenger seat that she had occupied.
So just in case you took away her main gun, she had a spare.
Yeah, she was ready.
She was ready to... Just say, she could have done drive-bys.
She did a lot of bad stuff. But you guys think this is bad? Like, just keep waiting, dude. Because this is, we're still in 1987, 1986. We've got years of her crimes to still go. So, around the time of that last arrest with the .22 in the car, this is when Aileen met this girl. I think it's Tyria Moore. I don't know. I'm not sure how to say her first name. She was a hotel maid at a Daytona gay bar. They moved in together, and Aileen supported them with her prostitution earnings. Mm-hmm. On July 4th, 1987, Daytona Beach police detained Aileen and Moore at a bar for questioning regarding an incident in which they were accused of assault and battery with a beer bottle.
It was them.
Yeah. On March 12th, 1988, Aileen accused a Daytona Beach bus driver of assault. She claimed that he pushed her off the bus following a confrontation. And then she listed that lady, Tyria, we're just going to call her Moore, her last name, because it's easier, as a witness to the incident. So they've already been accused of crimes together, and then they're like, wait, but no, we have to back each other up, so they're already not trustworthy.
She's like, I got you back.
So between December 1989 and September 1990, the bodies of several men were found murdered along the highways of northern and central Florida, including Richard Malroy, Dick Humphreys. That's his name! Between December 1989 and September 1990, the bodies of several men were found murdered along the highways of northern and central Florida, including Richard Malroy, Dick Humphreys, Troy Burress, David Spears, Walter Gino Antonio, Peter Symes, and Charles Karskadon. I don't know how to say these last names on someone. Items belonging to Malroy and Antonio were pawned near Daytona Beach, and the alias names used were traced back to Aileen through thumbprints left at the pawn shop guards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about the names of the men and everything too, but we'll just call them by their first names from here on out just to make it easier. Aileen confessed to the murder of all 6 men, claiming that she was picked up by the men when she was working as a highway prostitute and shot them in self-defense after they attempted to sexually assault her. That's what she said. Aileen was convicted of the murder of Richard after a jury trial and was sentenced to death. At trial, the state was allowed to introduce similar crimes evidence about Eileen's commission of several other murders. While on death row, it was discovered that Richard had previously served time for attempted rape. In prison, though.
God damn.
Aileen pleaded no contest to the murders of the other 5 men and was sentenced to death in each case. Isn't that crazy?
So wait.
I know, she's already sentenced to death, so then sentencing her to death 5 more times doesn't really make much sense, but you have to give a sentence for each
So they gave her a hardcore penalty, right, for killing all these people?
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like maybe in her time, like, there was other killers, like, we'll say, like, probably Ted Bundy had already happened and all this, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, she admitted to it.
Oh, homie never did, huh?
Oh, no, he did.
He did? Maybe, but he was already in jail when he did that. But she admitted it flat out before going in, so maybe that has to do a big difference.
Yeah, that probably does. Within 2 weeks of her arrest, Aileen and her attorney had sold movie rights to her story already.
They're like, we're trying to get that money in jail.
Investigators in her case did the same thing, dude. The case resulted in several books and movies, and even one opera on the life of America's first female serial killer. Eileen's father, Leo Dale Pittman, the one we were talking about him at the beginning, he was a sociopath. So, like we were saying, she was sentenced to death, right? So, for her final meal, this is a hard one because I don't know what the rules are, closer to today's day, but, like, I know people can kind of request, like, something pretty yummy. But Aileen declined the traditional last meal thing, which could have been anything she wanted for under $20, is what it says. Instead, she asked for a cup of coffee. That's it. Yeah.
I wonder what your, like, regulations are on the final meal, dude.
I don't know. That'll be interesting to look up, though.
Just saying I'd ask for something, like, out of state, out of country.
Yeah.
And when they tell me no, I'll be like, well, I guess I'll just die.
And they'd be like, okay, get in the chair.
Just get in the chair. I guess. I mean, can't even fulfill my final meal.
I know, you can't even give me a final meal, but her final words were even weirder.
It's a little weird, bro, because there's an interview before the final words, before all this. Sorry, I forgot. I just remembered.
Yeah. There's
like an interview she did. It was maybe 4 to 5 days before she got executed, and she was just going off on the reporter, like, why is everyone twisting my story? Like, they're trying to bring me down, trying to this and that. They're just trying to twist everything, right? It's like she didn't even know what was going on. Like, she knew she was gonna die, but she's like didn't comprehend.
Yeah.
And then a day or two later, like the people that check up on the mental health, when they were speaking to her, they said that, like, she was just like relaxed, like, it kind of accepted that she was about to die, that she wasn't all crazy like as she had been her whole life.
That's weird.
But I say that, right? Because there was 3 doctors that evaluated, that were checking up on her, and they said the same thing. But then you hit her with what her final words were, where she said, "I'd like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus June 6th. Catch me at the movie. Like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
It's like she had one more like final crazy attack in her head, and she's like, I'm gonna write this down. This is fire.
Well, if you think about it, since her dad was schizophrenic, maybe she was also. So let's talk a little bit more about her victims, because that's kind of crazy, right? So Richard, he was age 51. This was November 30th, 1989. He was an electronics store owner in Clearwater, Florida. Eileen's first victim was... This is just about Richard, right? He was a convicted rapist whom she claimed to have killed in self-defense. 2 days later, one of the deputies... they found his abandoned vehicle. On December 13th, his body was found several miles away in a wooded area. He had been shot several times, but 2 bullets to the left lung were found to have been the cause of death, dude.
No, Papa.
Yeah, so she shot him a ton of times, but only 2 of them actually killed him. It was on this murder that Aileen would eventually be condemned to death.
Okay, dude. Let me bring up something about the, how she was convicted, plead to death, right? Well, she even though she admitted it, right, she still got a deal. She pleaded to like no contest.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean she's not guilty. It just means basically she's not guilty, but she's still getting charged with the death, and she's still getting charged with the death penalty.
Yeah.
So basically, in her mind, she's still
she was like, I don't know.
I got away with it.
Yeah. She's stupid. Nah, I better not say it.
Yeah, I guess her final F you, right?
Yeah. So then the next victim, David Spears, he was 43. He was a construction worker. On June 1st, 1990, his nude body was found along Highway 19, and he had been shot 6 times. Yeah, it's a lot of times.
She unloaded the whole clip into him. Pa, 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 pa,
She did. The next one was Charles, and he was age 40. On May 31st, 1990, part-time rodeo worker, dude. That's what he did. On June 6th, 1990, his body was found. Yep, and what, dude? It had been shot 9 times. So it just kept going up.
She was just mag dumping, dude. She's like, bro, does this gun work?
It's true. Then we've got Peter. He was 65. On July 4th, 1990, his car was found. Both Moore and Aileen were seen abandoning the car, though. And Eileen's palm print was found on the interior door handle. But, dude, his body was never found.
Oh, man. Of course.
Then we've got Troy. He was a sausage salesman. On July...
He's a sausage salesman, he's a sausage salesman. He tells you if it's spicy or not.
He does. On the 31st of July...
is it? Sorry.
On July 31st, 1990, he was reported missing, and then he was found on August 4th. His body was found in a wooded area along State Road 19. He had been shot only twice, though.
She was getting better, dude. With age, she was like...
She was controlling it a little more.
Yeah, she became a master marksman.
And then we have Dick, age 56. He was a retired Air Force major, former state child abuse investigator, and former chief of police.
Damn, and she got with this chick, dude.
Yeah.
He saw the crazy face, and he was like, that's the one for me.
Yeah, I guess.
Same, brother. Same problem I had.
No, he was just hiring her, I guess. Or maybe he didn't even hire her. Who knows what really happened, right? Because she never really said, besides that, well, he paid for me and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see.
He wanted the puh.
On September 12th, 1990, his body was found in Florida. He was fully clothed and had been shot 6 times in the head and torso. His car was found later, too. So they would dump the car and the bodies, dude. Then we have Walter. He was a police reservist. Is that just like Army Reserves? I'm assuming police reserves. He was nearly naked when they found him. He was in a remote area, too. He had been shot 4 times. 5 days later, his car was found. Isn't that just...
So they're just...
It's really intense.
Why do they take off their clothes, dude, is what I want to know. They trying to steal his stuff, or so they won't recognize him right away?
I really don't even know, to be honest.
You want to stick something in his butt?
Maybe. Maybe, dude. So then, let's talk about the execution itself. So, Aileen's appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court was denied in 1969. In 2001, she announced that she would not issue any further appeals against her death sentence, because she tried lots of times.
She's like, I plead no contest, but I don't want to die.
Yeah, I don't want to die. Never mind. She petitioned the Florida Supreme Court for the right to fire her legal counsel and stop all appeals, saying, I killed those men, robbed them as cold as ice, and I'd do it again, too. There's no chance in keeping me alive or anything because I'd kill again. I have hate crawling through my system. I'm so sick of hearing this she's crazy stuff. I've been evaluated so many times. I'm competent, sane, and I'm trying to tell the truth. I'm one who seriously hates human life, and I would kill again. That's what she said.
Damn.
Isn't that insane?
What a savage, dude.
Yeah, and then her defense team was trying to argue and say that she was in no way or, you know, like in a state to be able to make this kind of decision. Right?
No.
Yeah, they were like...
They're all trying to plead insanity because it is insanity. It's like, nah. Not today.
Yeah. Well, then...
Straight to jail.
The Florida governor at the time was Jeb Bush. He instructed 3 psychiatrists to give Aileen a 15-minute interview. The test for competency requires a psychiatrist to be convinced that the person understands that she's going to die and for which crime she is being executed for. So all 3 judged her mentally fit to be executed. Isn't that insane?
They're like, murder this woman.
Mm-hmm. Aileen later started accusing the prison matrons of abusing her. She accused them of tainting her food, spitting on it, serving her potatoes cooked in dirt, and her food arriving with urine in it. She also claimed overhearing conversations about, and I quote, trying to get me so pushed over the brink by them I'd wind up committing suicide before the execution, and, quote, wishing to SA me before execution.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah. That might be part of the schizophrenia,
yeah,
though.
dude, start making up stories and stuff.
Yeah, well, she might have really believed she was hearing it. Who knows? She also complained of strip searches, being handcuffed so tightly that her wrists bruised anytime she left her cell, door kicking, frequent window checks, low water pressure, mildew on her mattress, and catcalling in distaste and a pure hatred towards me, is the quote. Aileen threatened to boycott showers and food trays when specific officers were on duty. In the meantime, my stomach's growling away, and I'm taking showers through the sink of my cell. That's what she said.
No, dude, she was how do I say? She was going through it in her head for sure.
She was. Her attorney stated, and I quote, Miss Wuornos really just wants to have proper treatment, humane treatment, until the day she's executed. And if the allegations don't have any truth to them, she's clearly delusional. She believes what she's written. That's what he said. During the final stages of the appeal process, she gave a series of interviews to Broomfield. In her final interview shortly before her execution, she claimed that her mind was being controlled by, and I quote, sonic pressure to make her appear crazy, and described her impending death as being taken away by angels on a spaceship.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, she said, and I quote again, you sabotaged my ass, society and the cops and the system. A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies and shit. That was her final words on camera. She said, thanks a lot, society, for railroading my ass. Damn, she just went off, huh?
Dude, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm sick of this. She's like, I hate the way that you... No,
oh, you sing that song again. Broomfield later met with Don Botkins, who was a childhood friend of Aileen's, who told him, quote, she's sorry, Nick. She didn't give you the finger. She gave the media the finger. And then the attorneys the finger, and she knew if she said much more, it could make a difference on her execution tomorrow, so she just decided not to. Aileen was brought into the death chamber on October 9th, 2002. Then they brought her into the death chamber on October 9th, 2002. And she, at the time, was the second woman ever to be executed in Florida. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, dude. She was a savage, dude.
Really was.
If you guys ever seen this clip on, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen this clip on either the Reels or YouTube or anything, where it's like a lady saying like, "You killed those men, didn't you?" Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, and I do it again." That's her. That's her. That's literally her.
And
she's crazy.
Yeah, we have lots of pictures of her, so I will post them.
I know there's a lot of you out there would be like, "I can fix her."
She looks like she wants to kill men, especially right there. Oh, brother. But anyways, well, tell us what you guys think about the episode.
And if you guys are listening to us on Spotify or YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and download the video.
And if you have any requests for episodes that you want us to cover, post that in the comments.
And we out.
Yeehaw, brother.